be, parity will kind of come in and navigate the reality of things. But we all know this is like I was listening to.
It's a bone to throw.
I was listening to what is his name? Vidishnar. What's his Vivek? What's his
Vivek? Right.
Ramaswamy.
The doctor or the politician?
The politician.
Oh, the vague.
Yeah, the vague.
That's bigger.
And I was listening to the speeches today, and everything he said was completely 110% right.
Mm-hmm.
And the reality is that Elon Musk and they may not actually do any changes, but they're going to get to look inside the hood. And I tell you right now, it's going to be so easy. Like, that's going to be a cakewalk in the park, because they're going to say exactly what any professional CEO would say. Your entire operational infrastructure is still in the 70s.
Right.
And they're going to be able to quickly assess the WTF problem with the government, right? Because again, this goes back to this whole idea. It's the same problem you have in the intelligence field and in the DoD, where you silo information, and nobody wants to, end up on a system that works across on a horizontal, right? Nobody wants to be like, I don't want to use their system, and they're going to use our system, and this and that, and everybody wants to contract.
And then it's always thrown to some auction, and like guesses on what they need, and they're guessing, covering up the exact same fucking product.
Listen, it's like right now, this is exactly what's going on in the Department of Defense.
I know.
It's the exact same.
Getting the back fucking door.
This exact same ordeal with this replica initiative and all of this small business innovation research grants that are coming out. It's just so hard to work with large organizations on a common operating, objective, right?
Yeah,
so
they're just gonna fix it from the inside, because they're gonna have like an internal guy that understands that whole market space better, right? Elon Musk and his tech boys, they made that market space. They literally know who's faking what and who can do anything. And they never understand. They never get.
Because all the people that work in the government have never worked in the commercial sector.
Yeah, all the people of the government, they are held in between by middlemen that are just confusing and confounding them. Based on like the people that they're paid by. And like all the tech guys are just out in the book, like, you guys are fucking all of
Marvin, there's so many things there that are not true that you just said, so let me start with a couple of them.
Okay, please, start with just one, actually. You don't start with a couple, you just start with
one. Well, they're all related, but I mean, so particularly at the top of these organizations, whether it's the very top of the deputies, whatever, they do get people who work in industry, who have worked in industry, and the problem with that, yes, they're knowledgeable, but then they have ties to their former employers. And you got this revolving door in terms of how contracts are led. Okay? So it's not always good, that they have that background. And it's good that they have the background, but very often they prostitute it. Let's say, that's number one. Okay?
Yeah, it's going to happen again. Elon Musk.
Can you let me finish? You want to let me finish?
Well, I don't see that as black and white as you do. I think we're saying the same thing.
No, I'm not saying it's black and white. I'm just saying that it happened. But the other thing is, it's been known for years that the IRS, the FAA, have systems that are decades old. It's not like, we need to open the hood, we're going to find out that it's decades old. They already know. Okay, now the problem you get is the government contracting process and like the issues with low bids or fair bidding. I mean, you know how many times, go look how many times it's been lost.
Yeah, so we're saying the same thing on that one, yeah, agreed.
Between Amazon and Microsoft over who got a contract, and then nothing gets done, So at some point, what we'd have to change is we'd have to change this philosophy that once the government makes a decision, let's say they go with Microsoft, okay? Amazon doesn't get to sue. It's like, even if Amazon's right, you don't get to sue because we need to move the ball. And we can't move the ball if all these large companies are suing, saying the process is not fair,
That is an issue, and that's why corporations are not democracies; they are dictatorships, right? And that CEO can make a decision within their organization about everything. They just decide, and that's it.
I'll just say any disputes between Amazon, Microsoft over government contracts are far easier to steamroll over when you control the Department of Justice and the Supreme Court.
Well, we know where Trump is investing his money as he starts to pony up these companies that he's investing in to get those contracts.
Like, do you understand that they could, if they want, for any of these cases, fast track them to the Supreme Court and just rubber stamp what Trump wants? Right? Like, oh, this is a problem. Like trust busting. It's not even like unprecedented. He's got any issue he could choose from if he wanted to pull apart.
And the Supreme Court is not going to take most of these cases. It doesn't make a difference that the majority they're Republican. They're not going to take most cases. They're not going to change the way they've been doing business for forever. I mean, they're not supposed to take every single case. And
they don't take every case. They're selective. They select every case they want.
Well,
that's right, and they take very few of them, like a single-digit percentage of the cases that are presented.
Well, before we start throwing the baby with the bathwater, let's just see what happens. But I like the aggressive desire to unearth what is going on and how these systems could be brought together. If that's what they want to do.
There's going to be some crazy headlines in the first 100 days.
Don't forget headlines. There's going to be some crazy things happening. Like, just the fact that, like, Matt Gaetz, like, all of these people who, the Republicans and Democrats are both kind of like, what the hell is going on? I think, if anything, it causes concern for, well, they think that they're going to go inside, and I think to what Marvin said, like, go inside and say, all right, yeah, these are, like, legacy systems. We need to update the stuff. That's all well and good, but saying that privately would probably be the better option, just because it would let our adversaries know what, that we would actually be, in the middle of like a migration, like a data migration or a chain. And
that part's not really a big deal. Our adversaries have already done all their damage when it comes to information, right?
Yeah, well, I don't believe that. I think that, even just the way that people, I would disagree with that. I think that the way that people have things.
Have you worked for the government before?
Yeah.
Military or civilian?
Civilian.
Okay. Do you have clearance?
No clearance.
All right. So if you had a clearance for the DOD,
Marvin, you know that I haven't worked for the military, right?
No, I know you are, so I'm just asking.
I've been on the tableau. No, I've never worked for the military.
So what I'm saying is that the OMB, they've been hacked a bunch of times, right? And they've gotten, the Chinese have gotten all of those of us that have clearances, the Chinese have gotten all of our addresses and social security numbers.
Right, but that's different than something that's more hardlined, and that's, like getting all of the citizens.
What do you mean hard? What do you mean hard line?
Creepy, Marvin.
What do you mean hard line? That's a pretty hard line.
No. I mean, but there's more than that. I'm talking about like
what's more than a secret clearance and its details being exposed? I mean,
Marvin, do you notice anything in your internet usage that suggests China?
All the time. All the time.
Suggests China is literally tracking you based on your address.
I don't know if it's tracking me, but it's I get a gazillion.
Well, so that's the better option. Like even like public companies that are on our phones right now, China's getting half of our geolocations data and all of that stuff right now, like just with like specific apps. So I think for someone to hack into.
Yeah, but I don't care about you. No one cares about you, right?
Right, but you're talking about you're just talking about like social securities, like stuff like that. I'm talking about
my social security being held against me, and then trying to then say, hey, they're gonna exploit my my knowledge and whatnot, that's a big issue.
Right. I think I was looking at another issue where I was thinking more on like the level of like the intel that the U.S.
Let
has.
those
That
tech
wouldn't.
boys have a look.
I'm sorry, Mixit?
Well, let those tech boys have a look.
Yeah, I mean, I just think publicly, yeah, I would disagree. But yeah, I got you. I don't see how it's going to be able to work out, and China and Russia are going to, I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of telling our cards in a big way.
Look, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to watch them do their thing. And they're going to publish a lot of stuff publicly. And it'll be really entertaining.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I'm stocking up on popcorn.
Do you think that they're going to be around for that long in that position?
4 years. 4 years. 4 years, yeah.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
A lot of them 4 years.
No,
Why don't you not?
hold on. This committee's only going to be around for 18 months.
Okay, where did you get that number from?
That sounds efficient.
That's what they say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like they're not going in for 4 years, and I know that, like, I'm not sure what RFK is going to go in for, but he's probably going to be. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, he is a 4 year, but we're talking about the Doge. We're talking about Doge. When I'm talking about RFK is a 4 year
I
appointment.
thought what do you mean, Doge?
The Department of Government Efficiency.
We're not even having the same conversation.
Oh, just like Elon then?
The doggy coin.
No, I mean, yeah, I don't know if they're going to be there for 4 years. All the points
They're going to be there for 18 months.
You're not in the same conversation.
Yeah, so yes. So hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What do I not understand?
Hold on. The cabinet appointments are going to be there for 4 years unless something happens, and something does tend to happen when Trump's in office.
Right.
Hold on. But Elon and Vivek and the Department of Government Efficiency, that's only going to be 18 months, and they're not even getting paid for doing it. But one of the funnier things that they've come out with today was $100,000 was used of taxpayer dollars to determine if tequila or gin makes sunfish angrier.
Yeah, that's a wild academic. I mean, that's
The answer is tequila, right?
Yeah,
It
the
has
answer
to be
is
tequila.
yes.
It's definitely gin.
It's gin. Everybody knows that.
Gin make you sing. You know that?
Gin is
Yeah, the tequila makes me think of top.
tequila's a clean liquor. Well, gin is.
I guess it depends on if these sunfish are Mexican or black. That's tough. If I been sunfish, it still leaves the question still stands. Who knows?
Anyhow, to Doge or not to Doge is the question.
I think the big take the job, I guess. I feel like, I mean, I'm excited about it, but I wonder.
Well, it's actually not even a job. It's not even a job,
Well, yeah,
right?
exactly. So, like, would running for Senate have been better for him?
No, I think it's the most important job in the government, and Vivek plans to be president, and I think if he succeeds at this, he will be president. Respect.
Yeah, Trump and him are going to get into an argument on month 3. So, I mean, he's not going to even be there for 18 months.
I respectfully disagree. I think Vivek is brilliant, and I think Vivek has a good shot at being president.
No, I do too. I definitely believe that. I just think that him and Trump are going to butt heads when he starts to see the autism, like what Elon showed Trump. And
But respectfully, Vivek is not autistic. Vivek has wonderful social skills.
no, I'm
Actually,
half joking.
a lot of autistic people have good social skills. They just, the high functioning just hide it a lot
High
better.
functioning, yeah.
Anyway, but the wait. I want to ask you. But president, if he were to take in, if he would have gone for that Senate seat in Ohio, wouldn't that have kept him the limelight longer. Like, I guess if I were him and I was playing the long game, yes, this could be monumental, it could be historical, yeah. But what if, to Authenti's point, what if it isn't? Like, what if it is like an 18-month thing or even less, and it doesn't work out, but they, Trump gets pissed off at them, who knows, and they part ways, and then where does he go?
Well, I want to hear from everyone in the room. I want to hear from everyone in the room, but I'll answer you very briefly, which is the entire world is going to be watching what happens in the Trump White House. It is the world's most popular stage. And so Vivek would be crazy to be a senator or a congressman or a governor. The whole world is going to be riveted. And I would say all over the world, governments are failing because they overspend. So if Vivek succeeds over the next 2 years in cutting government spending, he won't only be the biggest hero in America, but he'll be the biggest hero in the fucking world. I'm done speaking. I want to hear from everyone.
Well, by the way, Vivek lives in Ohio, so there's two reasons he didn't run for the seat. One is at the time, Ohio had an incumbent Democratic senator who actually hung in pretty well. Given he's really probably one of the most liberal senators. It's actually amazing. So it would have been a tough race. But this other thing is, if he thinks Trump's going to win, that means J.D. Vance wins. J.D. Vance is the other senator from Ohio. That seat gets vacated. Ohio's got a Republican governor. In 60 days, you'll find out whether Vivek wants to be a senator, whether he gets appointed by the governor of Ohio to fill J.D. Vance's seat. So he's got another shot, and it's easier to get an appointment to the Senate than to actually win a Senate seat against an incumbent.
Oh, so can he do both? So you're saying he could maybe do both?
No, he couldn't do both. He really couldn't.
He couldn't do the Senate and the Doge?
Well, we're in uncharted territories. Generally, the answer would have been prior to Trump, no. But in Trump's world, God knows, but generally no. Senator is a full-time job, particularly when you represent a big state.
So are you saying that he could change? I'm sorry, you said he could have another shot. So are we saying this time around?
No, another shot at being a senator. Even though he didn't run for that seat, when J.D. Vance resigns, which he'll do in 60 days before January 20th, there'll be a vacancy in the other Ohio seat, and the governor of Ohio is a Republican. He's going to appoint a Republican to fill the vacancy, and maybe he's got somebody else in mind besides Vivek. But you would think that Vivek would have a really good chance if he wanted it, and then you'll find out.
Wouldn't that mean that Vivek would have to say, "Okay, sorry, never mind, I'm not going to do Doge with you. I'm going to
Well,
do
he probably
this
wasn't expecting to be a U.S. senator. So it's not. There's no. There's nothing. It's kind of like, hey, you know what? Hey, this came along, so I'm going to do this. So
I feel like, I don't know, Ken. I feel like that has already been calculated, and that has already been a discussion. I think he's chosen not to fill that spot.
But if he takes that, the difference is the 6-year term, and you don't have to worry about maybe about having a fallout with Trump. Everyone's thinking Elon's going to have a fallout. Maybe Vivek has a fallout. People have fallouts, and then if the Senate seat's yours, you control that.
Right. That's what I was trying to say. That's why I'm trying to understand why he's choosing to go in this direction. Versus the safer route would be to try to slide into Vance's spot.
Well, I don't see it as safe at all because Trump will be the only decider who the presidential ticket is next time. So staying within Trump's core group, staying 100% loyal to Trump, maximizes Vivek's chances of being on that ticket. In my humble.
Yeah, that's a fair point. And I guess
no, it doesn't actually, because if you believe that J.D. Vance is top of the ticket, you can't have a president and vice presidential candidate from the same party, from the same state. I don't mean politically, I mean legally, okay? So that won't happen, okay? That's the reason why Dick Cheney, even though he had moved to Texas, when Bush wanted to make him vice president, all of a sudden he moved back to Wyoming or put his address back in Wyoming. So the president and vice president of the same party cannot reside in the same state.
That's true, but Vivek can easily shift his statehood to another state, as so many other people have. I travel all over the country, and people are much more receptive to having people move around for political. We're looking at the next 8 or 12 years. It's the possibility for the American living standard to rise more rapidly than it has at any point in history. It's a chance, it's a once-in-a-lifetime chance for people like Vivek and for J.D. Vance to get credit for this unbelievable improvement that's going to happen. And I think they're all eager to be in the center of power. Washington, D.C., being in Washington, D.C., being in the executive branch, I think is more attractive than it's been in the past. I think also Americans, if you look at the Americans' opinion of their of Congress as an institution, it's very low. If you look at Americans' opinion of the Senate, it's very low. It's not prestigious the way it used to be, and I think being in the executive branch for the next couple of years is the prestige place. It's the center of attention, and it's an executive branch that's being run in a way that America wants to see. I think the other thing that I would say that I'm eager to hear people, I mean, the most prominent people in the administration are people that used to be Democrats that recently converted to being Republicans, right? It's barely even a Republican government. It's a unity government. People who fled the Democratic Party include Tulsi and RFK and Musk. So my prediction is a huge number of additional Democrats will flee the Democratic Party and join up.
Just checking in. Oh, good. Susie, welcome back. Hello. Beth, welcome back.
Thank you.
Joe. Wendy is deconstructing something.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Let me know.
Yes, I'd be happy to.
You like that line, Jerry? Jerry, how good is that line?
Love it. Go ahead, Steve. I'm gonna mute my mic while you start over from the very, very beginning. Steve, take your time.
Thank you. I'd be happy to.
But while you're doing that, I'm gonna pivot to somebody else for a second. Okay, 1 second. Welcome to Healthy Debate. Welcome to Healthy Debates. Grant, they forgot to do this. Welcome to Healthy Debates. Let me see who else wants to jump in. Jane, did you jump in yet, Jane?
I'm good. Here for the ride. How you doing?
I'm in the building, man. What up, Jeff?
What's up, Devon?
Who's in the building, man? Who's in the building? That
Devon.
sounds cool. What up? What up, Brad?
Fuck you doing? What's up, Big G?
Big D. Hey, 1 second, bro. Jane, hop in, Jane.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Jane didn't have anything to say, bro.
Yeah, I thought on the mic. Jane wasn't saying something.
Jane didn't want to say nothing, Jerry.
Devon, Jerry, read the room.
I have something to say.
Go ahead.
Let's go.
What's your name?
Leo. Okay, yeah. So I'm
Leo, are you?
What?
Oh no, go ahead, Leo.
Here you go. He's going back to his old tricks right now.
Go ahead. No, but go ahead, Leo. I was about to ask about the racism stuff.
Go ahead, Leo.
Yeah, I'm gonna answer that. So I was listening to y'all on the way home. I got home, so I'm like, let me come up real quick.
Are you enjoying the room?
But Jerry, you said something earlier. You were saying like, who else other than blacks couldn't drink from like a water fountain? So I just wanted to say that Jewish people were also shown a level of racism and burnt in ovens. So, and I just think like a lot of black people
the question wasn't ovens, it was water faucets. And I said within the last 100 years.
No, like I heard your passion on the mic. It was like, well, who else other than black people? I just want to let you know there are other people who.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, go ahead.
It wasn't for you. I'm sharing knowledge with the room. So other people were definitely shown a level of racism. Oh my God, you can't be serious. Because that's reminding me of my ex right now.
I just muted my mic and said, okay, I apologize.
Everything I say is like, like
I'm sorry. Okay, let's take it back. Okay, I apologize. Can we take it back?
Well, I'm going to move forward. I don't need to go backwards. But I'm going to finish, right? So, okay, I just want to share that because it's very important.
Why are you so aggressive against me? I'm just trying to mute my room.
I don't think I'm aggressive. Anybody, do I sound like aggressive on here? Put it in the chat.
You don't sound aggressive to me, Leo.
Thank you.
I know how to measure aggressiveness, and I don't hear one, not even a.
No, that's what some people do to women of color to get them all riled up.
You know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do, Leo? Just so I'm going to be part of that, I'm going to humbly apologize to you and start over with you. Can you forgive me?
Yeah.
I wouldn't forgive that motherfucker.
Go ahead, Leo.
So I already am aware of how you felt when the room started, so I don't take it personally. I know, like Anthony said, it was an energy of bias.
He's a hurt man. Hurt men try to
Stop.
hurt other people.
I'm trying to say something.
That's a white man talking. That's a white man talking to a black woman right now.
Can I finish? I just took a little bit of notes. So yeah, they not.
You took a little bit of what? Dope.
Oh my God.
What
y'all not having a for real room, are y'all? This can't.
Oh man, this nigga right now like.
Okay, anyway, so.
What the fuck? I thought you said you just. Can I go and just have some dope? What did you say?
So you're a comedian, okay?
Oh my. Okay, I apologize. Go ahead. I'm mute my mic.
No, I don't do dope people in a room. But y'all probably know this guy here, and he probably chose. It feels like that. So they okay. So boom.
Jerry, can we go back to the Jewish guy that wants to be black?
No, Grant. A black woman is speaking. Okay. So we're not going to a white person.
Hold on.
Go ahead, Leo.
I got two things to say, and then you can go back to your honey dip, Steve. Okay, so to the title of the room, I think that it is real. But like Anthony said earlier when the room like first started, it is irrelevant. Like I do agree with that. And I just say that in case somebody got all riled up in their chest. I just want to say that you may see some people of color coming out and pushing back on it because some of us are observing what has been going on for a while, and it's a lot of victim energy, and some of us just don't want to live with that anymore. So it's like, okay, it's real, but it's irrelevant. You know, we're all pushing forward. We're part of a society that is like has grown so much.
This shit crazy, right? I'm sorry to cut you off, and I really
getting mad. I mean,
I'm not mad. Like I'm very like.
I didn't ask for your input. Can you just be quiet?
Why you talking about? I'm a black guy.
But that's what I'm talking about right there. The emotions, like right there. Like someone can even. So why did you cut me off?
Cause you don't live that life.
I don't care about you.
You a suburb girl.
I don't care about you.
You a suburbs.
I don't care about you.
Okay.
Bro. Why are you mad?
Yeah. Y'all talking at the same time like that. It's a little tough. Just let her land.
But he cut me off. It's so weird. Do you see what I'm saying to the room?
I know, but
you want to suburbs
also.
I don't care. You don't know me. Like you're mad.
Leo, pause for 1 second. Leo, pause for 1 second. Steady. What is it you want to say, Steady? Just get off your chest, bro. Go ahead, Steady. And see, you gotta mute up because it's echoing, brother. Go ahead, Steady.
What you said with the room is really, really real. Only unless it's irrelevant if you have a black business and you need that tax reform. So that's why I said we could touch other sides. But the shit is really, really real.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
So now back to, I have one more
I wasn't done yet.
Sweetheart, I don't give a fuck. You cut me off and I wasn't done. So let me finish.
Leo, why
What
don't you
the hell
do
is
this?
wrong with
Leo,
you?
1 second. Leo, take a deep breath. This is what we're gonna do.
I'm not taking a deep nothing. I can go.
Leo,
I already know you're mad about my opinions on it. But
Leo,
you
I'm
just
trying
went
to
and
make the
cut me
brother be
off.
quiet. Leo, I'm telling you to be quiet for you.
Okay,
Go ahead,
please
Queen.
do. Thank you. But you told me to go.
I apologize. I'm new at this, okay? Just bear with
You're
me.
not new at this.
Oh shit.
I have one more last thing to say. Can y'all please, like, with your panties?
Okay,
Let her go, Jerry. Come on, man.
Okay, so anyways, Anthony, if you're on the stage, I agree with you, and you know the room's fucking going crazy now. But anyways, the last thing I want to say is that, last but not least, so Trump didn't win because of his choice to stop kids from transitioning. Trump won because of his great policies and his choice to stop war, and he's going to make America great again. So,
MAGA.
Vegas called that shit. You know how much Vegas call everything else? So they just made, this year was the first year that you can vote on make money on the presidency. Vegas been doing that for 15 years.
Real quick, Jerry, I wanted to bring something real back. It's nothing crazy, right?
What's your name?
It's Evan, right? It's not gonna be too intellectual. It's very.
Well, just remember this is Clubhouse, not Twitter. But go ahead, bro.
All right,
Can we acknowledge Leo, though? Can we take a little deep breath on that?
Okay, let's take a breath. Okay, 1 second. Where's Leo at? Leo,
Leo said it was policies, stopping wars, making the economy better, making the country better. That's why he won.
Very intelligent young lady. Yo, Leo.
Shout out to you, Leo. So shout out to you, Leo. Appreciate
I just followed you, Leo.
What the fuck? I just followed you too, Leo. Stop it.
thank you,
Leo,
Anthony.
I'll follow you
Jerry's
anywhere,
pissed.
Leo.
Jerry's pissed. Okay, go
Gotta
ahead.
be with Steve.
She took a person.
Who the fuck is Steve?
Leo Simone's just a little sunflower that I gotta follow.
Have faith.
Appreciate that. Hey, Grant, I heard you earlier say that you didn't really see racism. And maybe I believe you, but I just wanted to play something for you real quick. This is you.
But the most embarrassing stat there is,
Do you want to hear that shit, Grant?
privileged white person in America.
Sure, I'll listen to it. Yeah. Okay.
In the fucking middle. It's disgusting. You got education available to you, healthcare available to you, fucking lawyers available to you, banks available to you. You can walk in anywhere, nobody fucking, and you still couldn't fucking. So saying all these people are wasting their whiteness. That's what you're saying, dude. Ain't no way another fucking race is gonna beat me to the top of the food.
Okay, I'll just leave.
That's right.
Hey, Grant,
You understand what I meant by that, right? You understand what I meant by right?
You're talking about power dynamics, not like you consider yourself like superior as a white person. You're talking about power dynamics, economic, how the economy is shared among races of people. So it's like if you start out at the 50-yard line, you should get to the 100-yard line before everybody else. So I get what you're saying. I didn't take it personal, but you do understand where you as a white male, with certain abilities of intellect or whatever, you do understand your privileges in society. You are well aware of that. It's not like it's oblivious to you.
Dude, I got I can list off 10 privileges I got. White's one of them. There's another 9 too.
And then like the lawyers, the education, you listed a couple of different things. You know that those things require a system to kind of have different industries in place where your privilege can be experienced, right?
Yeah. I lived a period of time on the streets. That also gives me some advantages in the marketplace.
No, for sure. I have your book. Next. I know you're a critic. You're a
Bro. Let him land. Let this dude land.
Being raised by a single mom was also an advantage I had.
Yeah, no, I know you're more on the analytical side. I have your book 10X. That 10X principle when it comes to work, I don't think most people really are aware of that. So I know you got your stuff down there. But I just kind of wanted to, put that forth that you're not completely, unaware or absent-minded of the differences with racial demographics in America.
Well, I want to expand the question if that's okay. Grant, when you say this,
100% agree with you, by the way.
I was just curious, Grant, to get back off what you said. Why was it advantage to be raised by a single mom? I'm curious.
It's not, though.
Because I didn't have a father overshadowing me.
Do you guys want to address
overshadowing me?
We can't make this up.
Okay, so I want to say that Grant Cardone has helped many people become multi-millionaires. Black, white, doesn't matter. You might be Chinese, you might be Russian. I don't give a fuck. The guy's helped a lot of people, so you gotta arm him.
Hey,
Thanks, Sean.
yeah, appreciate you. But you know what? Okay, who else want to jump in? Anybody else want to jump in? Holly.
What's his face?
Hey. I'll say my piece.
I ain't Holly.
Hey, Anthony.
Holly. Okay, Anthony. Bro, this is not your room. Go ahead, Holly.
Anthony's my buddy. All right.
No, I like Anthony. I like Anthony because he don't always agree with me. Go ahead, Holly.
Yeah. So is racism real? Of course. Yes, I believe interpersonal racism happens. I'm not your link up top talks about systemic racism. That's the area where I am not as convinced. A lot of the studies that they reference are honestly kind of shitty. You know,
okay, I got a question. I'm building with you. What makes you say that about the studies and make them shitty? What makes them shitty to you? Just curious.
For example, the data that they will use is just not comprehensive. Like, it's easy to poke holes in studies. Like, I get that. I'm not trying to make it so that it doesn't exist. I'm just not convinced. And if it is a problem, then I would say it's probably like, I don't know, a 2 out of 10 versus like a 10 out of 10 on the problem index. Like, I just don't think it's being diagnosed properly, and I don't think the studies are robust enough to really make blanket statements. You know, like, I don't know, it's more detail about the numbers, but
Hold on 1 second. Just give me 1 second. Let me just say this. So I'm going to give you 10 examples that they say systemic racism impacts the black community. Education, employment and wealth, home ownership, food insecurity, healthcare, police and surveillance, the criminal justice system, environmental racism, digital inequity, and immigration. Do you disagree with all that?
I do. The premise is that the system is inherently stacked against it. And I think that even if there is an iota of truth, that there are some parts of it, I think the problem is if you focus so much on systemic racism, then it absolves us of looking at the other ancillary or even more impactful, aspects of what makes the discrepancy or the...
But Holly, let me ask you this. Let me ask you
Let Monica hop on her too. Go ahead.
I got it. Monica can go right after this. You're going to tell me that red line is not a real thing in real estate against the black community?
Staying in Boca, and then we took a couple of days, and we stayed at the Swan Disney Resort, so that my niece has special needs, and so she wanted to go to the Harry Potter thing, the Harry Potter something or other. I'm not a big fan of the big parks and all the people and waiting in line, but I went. So we drove. It was like a 3-hour drive north.
When you
all your problems at the door of my city. You gon' need to tell my brothers where you from, and I admit it. I still got empathy, and you gon' feel it for 2 weeks, maybe.
I was throwing up. I was using the bathroom. I lost 40 pounds. It's a lot of stuff, I felt something inside my body. Something was in the body.
Well, God bless you for coming out of that, because I won't discount your experience. That's your experience. So many things are happening right now. I've never been through it, but I can't discount that you went through it. So God bless you.
Yeah.
economic situation. Which
anyone
could ascertain by just having like a simple conversation with somebody.
Yo, y'all niggas need to get out the fucking way and let the white people hash it out.
Man, fuck all this gay ass greasers
I wanna
versus
see
like
maple syrup versus maple syrup right now. School, stop fucking cooning, nigga. I heard you all think.
You calling white people maple syrup?
Like, it looks like a gladiator sport. It's probably exactly what it is. And it's really fucking bad for you as well, because when, say, a bunch of players, they run into each other, and you can tell by looking at the footage, these people really want to fuck each other up, right? Like, you run towards a person, you try to hit him as hard as you can to make him fly, and that kind of, the inertia that affects your brain, that causes issues for you. Because if somebody rams into you, your brain is kind of suspended in this type of liquid, and so your brain actually hits against the skull, and it just kind of sloshes back and forth. So it causes brain damage over time as well. So you have some of the players that really have a bad life. The result of that, of course, is being the fact that they have brain damage now, because they've been ran into and did a lot of running into other people as well. So that's kind of insane. We're not built for that. But yeah, Elon's gonna look at that and be like, why did people do this to themselves? All for entertainment. And what were they rewarded? Monies. And they're gonna think to themselves, well, what good is the money if you're not even conscious enough to understand that you're using it? You know?
Yeah.
It's wild to me. I know that's all I'm gonna say. It's like when you hoard a bunch of wealth as well. Like, what is the fact that you're doing this for? Are you doing this for the next generation? Okay, that's understandable. But are you just doing it for the sake of doing it? Like, what's the fucking point of that? Like, being super frugal to a fault, and that fault being one that you cannot really sustain, or even rationally explain. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be saving money. I'm not saying that at all. I'm kind of saying the opposite to it. I'm just saying you shouldn't be hoarding it to the point where you're just, like, doing anything just for the sake of money and nothing else. Like, if you need the money because you want to build things, that's fine. That's awesome. You do you. But if you just like seeing pretty numbers in your bank accounts, I don't know, man. I feel like you got your priorities all screwed up. Norgard, have you ever co-hosted a space before? Don't let anyone up, of course, because there are a lot of trolls that will attempt to come up. But I'm just going to put you there, just so you can experience it, just for the funsies.
I get to see how the software is working in real time.
You see all the requests and such as well. Sometimes there are very little, sometimes there are some, but genuinely I like to keep the panel contained. So that's what we're doing here. And the reason why I actually have co-hosts is because sometimes I don't see requests come in because of the way that everything is built. So it's very broken.
Yeah, there's been many iterations of this product, though it seems to have improved quite a bit from the previous incarnation.
Yes, yeah. It's still Periscope, and it still has a very bad time dealing with current infrastructure, but it has seen worse days, let's say.
Exactly.
I haven't seen as many, sometimes what happens is you have this error where the interface, there's they're like these little blue pills that you see sometimes when you scroll on your phone, and then it's like what spaces are on, and for quite a while that actually didn't work, and then just popped up randomly, and whenever it would randomly pop up, then the listeners for each space would just increase because people would see them, because not everybody's going to get a notification, because some people are like, they have off or they have priority notifications, that kind of thing. I actually would highly, one of the reasons why people have their notifications turned off, even though they're not really people who post as much, is because of the fact that a lot of people do this thing that's called reply guying like mad, and I think that's a complete waste of time. You can reply guy a decent amount, it's great if you wanted to, but just understand that not many people are going to be able to turn their notifications on because of you.
And also the reach of your posts will actually go down because you are oversaturating, it would seem. And like, imagine this, for instance. Let's imagine that I'm posting fucking 100 posts a day, right? There's no way that you're going to keep up with that. Absolutely no way. That's kind of how your replies work as well. You make like 100 replies a day plus whatever posts you have. You know, it's not going to really do much. Maybe you have like some impressions that go straight to your profile and people look at it because you left an interesting reply behind, and maybe that reply is consistent with what it is that you produce as content. Like that actually works from a growth perspective. But for me, I think, like everybody's kind of on their own trajectory. For me, I think the best way to grow is via Spaces, in my opinion. I think Spaces is incredible.
Yeah. For me, it's been Spaces, yeah, 100%.
It's probably the most organic way to grow on the platform.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You post a lot of memes. That does
well. Memes are great as well. Yeah, memes are incredible, especially if your like entire page is kind of populated by memes, and then you just kind of drop some memes as replies. That is really consistent. The consistency that makes people follow you, because like nobody's going to follow you for your replies. They're going to follow you for your content, and if your content is consistent with your replies, then the follower is more or less guaranteed, even to a certain extent, and that really expands the amount of coverage that you get. I think personally. For me, the reach is via performance on Spaces, performance on people's shows, that kind of thing. Like sometimes hop onto Alex Jones, that kind of, you know, does things. Wherever I know that I can kind of get some breathing room to explain what it is that I'm on about and where the moderation is actually okay and that it actually stimulates a show, that's where I want to be at. You can't just have like individuals that all individually rant for like 2 minutes and have no idea what they're talking about. You have to have like actual chemistry. You know what I mean, with people that are on stage there. So like probably even have a few conflicts, that kind of thing, but it has to be organic conflicts of principles or ideology to a certain extent even as well. It's very, very entertaining.
Yeah, I feel like the Spaces that just let on anyone, and then it's just, you have to raise your hand to talk, and all that bullshit, it just doesn't work.
It sucks ass, and the majority of the time why it works is because you have a person at the head of everything who's in the host of the space that does most of the talking. So of course it works, but then you have like the moments in between which don't actually make that much sense, which is when you have people on that actually don't know anything about public speaking and don't have the same energy that you have when you want to approach this type of problem. That is a huge fucking issue. And even if you don't speak a lot, like a few quick quips that are really good, that really are of value, that's great as well. It's really, really good. But in a system where you have to raise your hands and you're not able to actually make a quip in a moment of silence, that is really not an organic conversation. That is more like you're doing a Senate hearing in all the worst ways, actually.
Debate atmosphere. What's up, guys? Hey, Adrian, Morgan, Bloodis, Otto, Freckle.
Hello.
Hi.
What's up, dude?
I just saw the funniest thing. So you guys know this dude? What is his name? Chris Mulvaney or something like that. So you're not gonna believe what he blamed capitalism for. He basically blamed capitalism for obesity. So we're all fat because we live in a capitalist society. Well, no.
Okay, hold on. He's got a point there. There's no one has food under socialism, so.
Yeah, oh my God. Otto, I'm stealing that. I'm gonna hold on.
Would you rather be obese or starving?
Yeah, there's no obesity under socialism, so I guess he's got a point there.
That is great. Yeah. So the next time somebody comes up with some so the next time somebody comes up with a take on how good socialism is, we're going to throw that in their face and see how they deal with it. Just like really drop that in front of them. There you go. Mint. I had like one argument once with a socialist, which was really fucking stupid. And that was when I was in a space and we were kind of debating the idea of socialism. And of course, like for me, some of my ancestors, and to a point of them, have experienced socialism in East Germany, right? So when they tell me how it was like, I believe them because the news is shit. Historians are full of shit because the news they use is full of shit. Then on top of that, they hardly ever talk to the people that were actually there. And if they do talk to them, it's very selective because the majority have just like moved on. They don't want to fucking deal with it ever again in their lives because it was so horrible. And so then you have a conversation about this, and you really have to have a position that's well educated within, that you really do ask the average person that was there, and you ask them what it was like. And I actually know various interesting perspectives on this, because I know the perspective of the people that were kind of outside of that system, in that they worked some of the shittier places, and people inside of the system where they actually contributed to it by administration, or even by, say, actually, administrative work. That's the best way I can describe it. Like, some of the administrative work was done, and, in that same family, the non-administrative work, the production work, all this, the very lackey stuff, at which people were really suffering. Both of those perspectives I have. And I can tell you one thing that was consistent is that everybody wanted out of that fucking system. Everybody wanted out, because no matter if you worked or if you didn't work, or even if you didn't do as good of a job at work, you would always be rewarded in the same shitty way. That is how it would always be. That's why socialism doesn't work, right? And then I had a debate like this, with that context in mind, of course, now that you understand why exactly I would have such a strong opinion on socialism, I, of course, went into that space, wanted to have a discussion, and by far, the most retarded thing, and I'm not going to say retarded, actually, that's an insult to anyone who can actually still think, the most brainless thing that I've ever heard anyone make as an argument in favor of socialism was to say that the people left from East Germany to West Germany when the wall fell only because they received money when they went over as aid. That was not the reason. The reason was, never again will I want to live under such a shitty system. That is also why people on their own dime and on their own time came there with machine equipment and tore that piece of shit wall to pieces. Mauernspechte, they called them. Fuck that wall, and fuck its entire existence. They went there on their own time, on their own effort, on their own dime, to tear that piece of shit down for a very good reason. It wasn't because of the money.
Also, how many people risked their lives to go to that side?
And that's interesting, because they risked their lives before money was even established as aid, because guess what? They didn't have shit over there. There was one story where somehow a family was able to hoard enough fabric to basically make an improvised balloon to then fly over the border. So in a way that they wouldn't be seen.
They had never seen a balloon before as well. They had never seen a balloon before either.
Yeah.
They literally just saw it on a magazine, and they're like, let's make that.
Exactly. That's how bad it was. And some people would even tunnel under the wall, and they'd get caught because there'd be noises. Because you'd have to machine your way through the fucking earth at some point. You also then have to get rid of the earth. That's another issue as well, right? You have to displace the shit on earth in order to make a tunnel. So you actually have to be quite close to the wall itself. And within a certain zone of the wall, you would be constantly monitored. Actually, you were monitored everywhere, but the monitoring would be very extensive in this particular zone, which would be very close to the wall because of this exact factor, right?
Can't you just, I guess the biggest issue is just removing the earth. Like, the removed earth, where do you place it,
Actually, the biggest issue would be time and the earth, yes, exactly, because you have to displace a lot of material, like I mentioned.
Yeah,
but noise was a primary factor after the construction.
You can just dig it down enough to where it doesn't make any noise.
Yeah, but then you have stability issues as well. And then, of course, you have not just stability issues, but then you also have difficulty adjustments.
When you're literally risking your life to go to the other side, if you're found to be digging this hole, you're going to die, or you're going to get life in prison or whatever. At that point, like, the stability issues are the least of your worries.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And people legitimately got shot for trying to cross the border. And this was way before aid was even a remote topic. They just didn't care. It didn't matter where they were going to be. It didn't matter if they had a roof over their heads. They wanted out of that fucking system so bad. And people get shot all the time because they try to cross the border. And also when you look at the pictures, there's something really interesting that you can see, which I felt was very fascinating and indicative of the fact that there was a system against the people, a physical manifestation of the concept that a system is against the people, in that you had barbed wire that was placed on the inside of the border towards the people. What fucking kind of protection is that? You are not protecting anyone from getting in. You are keeping people in a cage. There's a physical manifestation of a system, that wall, against the people. And no one will ever convince me otherwise. Fuck you for even trying.
How many people have gone from North Korea to South Korea versus the opposite?
Exactly. And you can ask people, whenever they make an argument for saying, oh, we want to try and change the system a little bit, it's like, why don't you go there? Why don't you go there and live there? Right? You won't, because you're a little pussy bitch. You would never do that. You're a coward and a liar.
Remember when Bernie Sanders said America should take some notes from Venezuela because it's such a good country?
And most
Can we
people
send them there?
Send them.
Can we just send them there?
Send them to it as well. Like if you feel like as though this type of political leadership is better than what it is that you currently have, go there. Start fresh. You think it's so good? Go there.
Also, most people don't realize the impact socialism has. It's like, oh man, for example, Mao killed 50 million people, Stalin killed a bunch, like tens of millions. To put it in another way, Russia at the turn of the century, last century, so 1900, had 100 million people. The US had 77. Russia right now has 150 million people. The US has 330. So, in terms of gap, if Russia developed the same way as US did, it should have close to 500 million people right now. So it's not 30, 40 million there. The brain drain, the colossal, well, obviously there was a World War II, which 30 million lost, but it's still 350 million people missing, and that would have been part of the population.
Yeah, think
Yeah,
about
my family left the Soviet Union the second we could because it was not worth living there even after the fall of the Soviet Union. So
yeah, those the lucky ones left in 1920s, and the most unfortunate thing, there was a lot of people in 1920s that went from Europe into Russia because they thought they're building like the new world, the new political system, the new economy, and they really got historically, pardon me saying, the screwed over. That's like the saddest part of it. It's people that were really passionate about doing something that they can leave.
yeah, we left in like the 90s, so not so much all the 20s stuff.
One of my ancestors left Russia, had to leave Russia because he had some issues with the Tsar for some reason. So he had to leave and went to another country.
What's his name, Rasputin, or?
No. This was like before that, yeah.
Your ancestors hanging out with Tsars?
Yeah, Rasputin, the Russian. I don't. We genuinely don't know what that guy was doing because he he just showed up to my home country one day and he just bought like everything he could. He like had a bunch of money. We don't know what the fuck he was doing in Russia.
Bro, what the fuck?
Yeah, no.
That's called a spy. I'm kidding.
Someone said that Adrian and I need to leave Bernie alone because he's a good man with a big, huge heart. He's an elder that needs not to be made fun of. Thanks. In fact, the team needs Bernie too. I'm like, what drugs is this?
I was just reading that too. That's why I paused. The thing is, there's that famous saying, right? The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yes. Bernie was telling the dinosaurs about universal healthcare.
Oh my fucking god.
I mean, I'd
love it if he'd retire. Dude's like 85. Like, it's about time to call it.
Rasputin is like my favorite person from his. No, actually, my second favorite person from history.
Michael Bloomberg had the best thing about Bernie is like, hold on a minute, here's a guy, multimillionaire with 3 houses. It's basically the biggest communist on stage. What's going on?
Oh yeah, did you see? What I found the funniest was like how he kept going after millionaires. Millionaires need to pay their fair share. Millionaires and billionaires need to pay their fair share. Once he became a millionaire himself, he switched it entirely to billionaires. These billionaires need to pay their fair share. What happened to the millionaires, Bernie?
I don't think these people understand quite how taxation actually works, really. Like, I don't think these people ever actually really think about how taxation works. Really think about it. And that the majority comes from fucking people like that.
The stock portfolio increased by 30%. That means they made $100 million in cash this year. They need to pay the same rate I pay for the increase in their investments.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is kind of funny because if you think about it, right? So Musk, he wants to own 25% of Tesla, which means that for every billion he gets that his vision helped create, that means someone else gets 3 billion. Obviously, not a single person necessarily, but it's not that someone's paying him. He's creating that much worth, that much value. And obviously, you can say, well, how can one person be creating all that value? Well, it's like a bunch of smart people everywhere, except for some reason it's this one person leading a bunch of smart people that constantly wins against NASA, against countries, against companies like car companies. So must be something, some magic secret sauce, or just insane work ethic that he has. Might be that.
Think about this. Here's a better argument, right? These people have a shit ton of money. They have companies. Someone like Elon has a lot of companies, which means he has created a lot of jobs. Yeah. These people all get paid. These people are more or less middle class to a certain extent. What do? They pay taxes. So the reason for why taxes are even a thing in the first place that can be exploited is because of billionaires like him. Because he actually pays pretty damn well.
You know, this actually reminds me, this is like one of the funniest arguments to me, when people are like, when you ask for like successful examples of socialism, and people give you like Sweden and Denmark and things like that. Mm-hmm. This is like the funniest thing in the world to me, because Sweden and Denmark and Finland and these countries have like less regulations and lower taxation for companies than the US. The taxation in Sweden for companies is lower than that of the US. And they deal with less regulations. And there is no minimum wage in Sweden.
Also, it's like Tesla at IPO, and after all the current value and current, what do you call it? You know, when they do the stock splits and everything. So right now, you bought one share there, you would have had 15 now. So if you bought 1/15 there, then it would have cost you about $1. It's $3.30 now. So if you put in your life savings, your house, your stuff, everything on the line, what Musk did, then an average middle-class family with $500,000 home, you put all that on the line, then right now you'd be worth, $150 million by doing absolutely nothing, just investing into Tesla. It's kind of like, obviously it's like, well, yeah, that's not the same as Musk, but yeah, if there was an earlier IPO, well, some companies had that. So it's like they not only... They'll do huge risk, but then they do a lot of work. But if you don't want to do all the work. You can definitely just do the huge risk. Why not? IPO, invest everything. If you believe in that person.
It's really crazy though that even Musk's investment in Tesla is not even the best investment in history. The best investment in history is basically this guy that gave Mark Zuckerberg like $20,000 to start Facebook.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I think he's worth like $12 billion or something right now.
The guy who was supposed to own like half of Facebook because of it or something like that?
I think it was like 20% or 25%, something like that. The guy that moved to Singapore.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
Renounced his U.S. citizenship. And then they, because of the fact that he renounced his U.S. citizenship and stopped paying U.S. taxes, they actually made a specific law about him, which was that if you renounce your citizenship, you still need to pay taxes.
That's funny.
Cali wanted to pass a law that if you leave Cali, you still own taxes for the next 10 years, but it would degrade over time.
Yeah. I heard about that. Was that successful?
No, I don't think so, but that was kind of funny.
That would be hard to enforce.
Yeah. Also, you know, it's the funniest thing that most people don't realize. At the country level, there is no socialist countries. It's all capitalist. Every single country is an entity that partakes in a capitalist society. They can't just they got their capital, they got their rules, they got where they can try and burn cash or not, and so forth. But they can't just dictate prices worldwide. Even with like the oil stuff, right? Maybe you can say that oligopoly has some control, but nevertheless, China partakes in a capitalist society.
You look at, say, for instance, China as an example of this exact thing. That's also why I vehemently disagreed with the assessment, if everything else falls apart, China becomes the next empire. Nah, no. The only reason why China